It says we're live now.
Oh, there we are.
Great. Technical difficulties in the time of COVID. What's new?
Well, welcome everyone to Fridays are for Founders, and for another great week of being able to feature local entrepreneurs and support the needs of our community here. So thank you guys for joining us. This week, I'm really excited. We have Psyche Terry on the call. She has an amazing bio that I was reading yesterday that I just thought I was blown away by. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. But just so you know, kind of the groundwork for today, this is an hour-long session that we get to go through. We're going to get to talk with Psyche, hear from her. We're going to talk about things about like remote working from home, how to be an entrepreneur, have a family, and we'll touch on some things as it relates to COVID too. But thanks everybody for being here. Delaney, thanks for being a co-host, and Psyche, thank you for being here. Please, would you introduce yourself and just let us know a little bit more about you and your background?
Yes, I'm Psyche Terry. I'm an entrepreneur in Frisco, Texas. I absolutely love Frisco because I'm here with my 3 children and my sweet husband. I've been married this will be year 16. Wow. And we've got a 5, 7, and 9-year-old. And of course, they're in the Frisco School District. I've got a baby girl that's headed to kinder. This is my last one. I'm so excited to get her out of the door. But right now, I'm so excited to get them all out of the door because we've all been home, right, for so many months with COVID. But absolutely just love being an entrepreneur in the city of Frisco in Texas. It's just been a phenomenal experience for us. We make skincare, hair care, bath and body products that we sell to, I just throw numbers around nowadays, but like 10,000 to 12,000 retailers, retail doors, but to folks like Target, CVS, Bed Bath & Beyond, Harmon, H-E-B, Texas. So those are some of our key customers. And we call ourselves an overnight or over year, 10-year success. So we've been in business for 10 years. I left my corporate career 10 years ago, but we've really restarted and started kind of after having a kid finally in kinder over the past year. So our business really just kind of took off last year, and we're kind of year 2 of our 10-year business success.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. So talk a little bit about where you got this idea. You kind of saw a need and you were like, I think I want to go do that and pursue that full time. What took you out of the corporate world?
So many things. But one of the number one things is, I remember looking out around my home office thinking, man, I want to do something like that matters. And I want to do something where I get to control my own destiny. And I didn't feel like I had been working in that capacity. I had just finished my master's degree in business, and I had been in corporate America for 12 years. And I felt like I was trucking up this, like the stream of someday bigger, better, more. And I felt like my heart space was like, not so happy, more. Not so happy. So that's really what motivated me to start giving back and serving. And I served on the board called the Blind Center of Nevada. And it was for blind people in Vegas that couldn't go play, right? So they came to this center to do stuff, and they needed to raise money. And an effort to raise money, it was a ton of other men on the board. And I won't say I probably had the fashion flair of the team, but I did. And I said, hey, they were building gift baskets. And I thought, I'm sure I have probably received and given more gift baskets than anybody on this board. And I thought that I could provide some help with some of the bath and body products that were in the gift baskets. And by the time I was done, there were 7 unique items that I had just created. Now, I was in washers and dryers, had been in it for 12 years, but didn't realize that I had a passion for creating, for naming, for colors, for smells, just all the lovely things in life. And I thought, I'm going to pitch this to a store. And I did. I pitched it to TJ Maxx, and she loved it. And she said, I'll take 500. Wow. So that's kind of where my life changed. For me, 500. Now imagine at this point, I'm doing like 500 pallets of products. But at that moment, 500 units was crazy. And I had no idea who would make them. How would we get it to her? where will we load the product up? And it ended up being like my house, me, my family, like those are all the answers to all my questions. But that's kind of how we got started. And we shipped our first products right out of our home here in Frisco, Texas.
That's incredible. I mean, I think we often talk about this idea of, as an entrepreneur, you don't know what you don't know because you've never done it before, but you got to have that willingness and desire to stick with it and just persevere and just figure out like, hey, look, we're going to make some mistakes and we're going to hit some bumps in the road, but we'll go from there. And it sounds like you've done an amazing job at adapting and doing that. What when you think back to when you were coming into this space and you were like, all right, I'm excited. I'm going to go. I got this order for 500. I want to grow. What were things that you expected to be really hard and maybe weren't as hard as you thought? And what were things that came out of nowhere and you were like, I would have had no idea how much time, money, and effort it took to focus on that?
First part of the question, phenomenal question that I've never heard before. Like, what are some things that I didn't realize I knew? I didn't realize I knew money the way I knew money. I was in marketing and sales, and I didn't have to do the numbers of the company I was full-time working for at the time. I didn't realize that my very large pieces of paper and my very large writing of like, you get this much in scholarships, you have this much in bills in college. And then finally, when we bought our first house and the expenses of the home are this much, you make this much, this is what you have left over. Those little skill sets, I didn't realize were the same skill sets I needed to run an enterprise. I had no idea. I thought I'd have to lean on my husband. I definitely do. He now is our CFO. But in the beginning, he was a full-time banking guru, and I was in charge of the books. So I had no idea that, well, it's kind of the same thing. It costs this much and you have this much. So you either do or you don't. So those were some of the things that I thought were going to be, I was honestly very nervous about. I hear so many horror stories about women and money, or just money in general, or losing and going flat broke because you bought too much. So I was just so afraid of what I thought I didn't know. And some of the things that I guess that stumped me. That's the second part. Okay, so some of the things that stumped me were really hitting the head on the nail when it came to not believing I was shopping for myself. Meaning, when I for maybe the first 7, 8, 9 years, we've only been in business 10 years. For the first 7, 8, 9 years of the company, I go, here are all of my new products. Don't you all love everything, right? I think what I didn't realize was, no, they're not going to love all your products, and you will have some goods and some bads. And that rule of 80% of, or 20% of, 100% of your product collection, 20% of it is going to be probably your best selling. So that stumped me big time, because I'm one of, well, everybody has a place here, right? So I had to really quickly learn, nah, that has to go because it's not selling. So that was tough for me.
So do you have a product that you've created that hasn't responded, that your customers haven't responded to yet, that you're just like, look, that you guys just don't get it. You guys don't get it yet. You're wrong. This is genius. At some point, you guys are going to wake up and this is going to just fly off the shelves. Is there any product you have like that?
Welcome to my company. Welcome to Urban Hydration, the company you never knew you needed. Urban Hydration was initially built when we made those products. The thing is, I said, hey, what is a hydrococa? I could not understand the words on the back of the bottle, let alone want to use them on my body. So what we decided to do was to Google every letter, right? And there's so many letters in some of those ingredients. So I Googled every letter and I'm like, what is it that you're trying to get this word to do? And we said, what are the products, or what are the ingredients, or what are the formulations in nature that we can get to do the same exact thing? So that, however, I had no idea that I was 10 years pre natural living, natural importance. So this is year 2010, where people were just like, I love my chemical, right? And I'm out here saying, no, you should love your coconut oil. Coconut oil and hemp seed oil and avocado oils, those weren't exciting 10 years ago. Now they're top of the charts trend. So I think those are some things that I stood behind though. I did not say we're going to go chemical based. We just continue to be paraben free. Things that are now important were how we started. But we didn't start it because we said, someday I will be the queen of trend. No, I did it because I had no idea how to pronounce the words that were on the containers, and I didn't want to put it on my skin. So it came really, honestly, it came down to ice cream. I think I heard one day that, like, if you're eating that ice cream that you don't know what's in it, then it should really just be like milk, ice, something like that, and I'm like, like a ton of things. So that's really where I started to play back in our products and go like, why do we have like this many product formulations and something that says it should be like, I don't know, not. So yeah.
Somebody asked a good question that, sorry, Trey.
Go ahead.
Somebody asked a good question that kind of spurs into what I was curious about. You're obviously staying very true to who you are and your company is, it's paraben free, it is natural. We're not just doing it because it's trendy. We're doing this because we think it's right. But as you mentioned, it's kind of taken a while. It took the 10 years and now all of a sudden it's this overnight success. So Ellen asked, would you say that your marketing sales skills alone got you into the retail stores? And kind of off of that, I'm curious to know at what point, did it switch? Was it the marketing skills? Was it persistent marketing skills? Was it something else that finally really got y'all into those names like Target after 10 years of hard work?
Yeah. So I'd say it was, I wouldn't call it marketing. I call it relationship. I call it persistence and relationship. So the P's and the R's. People say PR, public relation. I think it's more persistence and relationships that got me in those doors. So I can remember some real uncomfortable days where I was on LinkedIn saying, here's a guy that I keep emailing on LinkedIn and he won't respond. Who is he married to? Where does his kids go? I can remember some real uncomfortable days of telling myself, come on, calm down. I do not email his wife. Do not do that. Like, hey girl, you got kids, I got kids. But that was that's a part of that persistence, right? Where you're figuring out, how can I communicate? How can I get in their face, but naturally? And I think what really helped me was understanding that I'm the customer first. And then understanding that buyers at these big, humongous stores that make you go, oh my God, you're in what store? Because that's how I used to feel is, oh my God, I shop at that store. I mean, I can't imagine my products on the shelves of that store. But people that are putting products on the shelves of those stores are people too. They've got kids too. They've got needs too. They need shampoo. And they're probably having to pick amongst a slew of shampoos as well. So really trying to understand what's that message that would be attractive to them as a human being. That is truly what I think changed the game for me.
Wow. That's, I think that's what's so important as I've seen in entrepreneurship. I've never been an entrepreneur, but working at the deck, I've seen many, and in so many of these conversations that we've had in Fridays for Founders, it's that persistence. It's that, finding the person on LinkedIn, following up with them. We were talking about that last week. And I think that's, half or a lot of the battle when it comes to entrepreneurship is just being knocking on people's virtual doors now constantly and just making it happen. So I can definitely see that. And kind of in that light, you've been in this 10 years now, finally kind of flipped the switch, doing great. How has COVID affected y'all now? I mean, this is a curveball for everyone. I can only imagine just as much for y'all, especially being in retail stores. How has it kind of affected you guys and how have y'all pivoted?
COVID-19 has been, I'm trying to think of something that is similar. It's been like a bad stomach ache, right? It's been like, oh my God, when you just go away, what did I eat? That's what COVID-19 is for me. Still trying to figure out what is wrong here. It's been quite interesting. We lost so much. We lost customers. We lost some of our friendships, some of our relationships with folks that no longer work at the stores that we were, selling to. So that was really difficult to have folks furloughed or have folks no longer I'm used to emailing every day with, and then I'm like, oh, wait, oh no. We lost employees, we lost people, we lost contracts. We are amongst that small business conversation of folks that are out here trying to figure it out. COVID has been so difficult. It definitely has been a tummy ache for me. And on the other end, I feel like whatever I ate in the tummy ache is starting to loosen up. I'm feeling a little better, and things for us are starting to transition. But I had to pivot, right? So if I'm here like scrunched over because my tummy aches, I had to move over a little bit. I had to change my positioning a little bit so that my tummy could feel a little better. And that's truly what I've done with the sake of COVID. I ate it. Whatever it is, it's here. It's happening. It is just sitting on my tummy, and I've got to deal with this thing. And I'm out here getting on my shell trying to figure out what is it, what do I need to take to relieve this pressure that I'm feeling? And that's called pivoting, right? So small businesses like myself, to be successful, right, to relieve the pain, I had to pivot, and I pivoted. I chose to figure out, well, if it's one thing that I do that maybe is not selling right now or isn't happening right now, what else can I do? From a personal standpoint, I had a ton of time on my hands. So I chose, I am good with relationships. Let me relate to my customers right now. Let me just take time to relate. Now, I have two sets of customers. As a retail correspondent, I work with retailers and I work with customers. So it was very important for me to make sure that we're communicating next level with my what I call them end consumers, but then also, am I communicating with my firsthand customers? Am I talking to the folks that put my products on the floor? And then from a product standpoint, if what I'm selling isn't moving right now, what do I need to move into? And that's truly what I think changed the game for us or pivoted us, was choosing to be willing to go into just something totally different. For me personally, that was, hey, I love relationships and I love exercising and I love dancing and I love music. I'm going to get a Zumba license. I'm going to keep my mind busy. I'm going to do something that I never would have had time to do. So I guess I'm a Zumba instructor now. And from a company standpoint, we thought, okay, PPE is huge right now, skincare, body products, hair products. What can I do to help? And one of my customers reached out in relationship and asked, do you make hand sanitizers? And I thought, no, but yes, absolutely. That's how we got started with growing into hand sanitizers.
And did you guys go after any of the funding that's been made available to small businesses, be it the Paycheck Protection Program or the EIDL? What?
Absolutely. We
and were you?
Say it again.
Go ahead. I was going to say, and were you successful in getting those funds?
Well, not the first time. So we did go after the Paycheck Protection Fund all the times that it was an opportunity, and it took not the first round, but the second round. And the interesting part is I was on calls with advocacy programs from the President of the United States. So I'd be on a African-American Advocacy Council meeting for small businesses for paycheck protection, but I didn't get any of the Paycheck Protection Program funding. So that was really interesting, where I'm there like, yes, all right, that's phenomenal. I'm signing up just like everyone else, and we're not getting any of the funds. And then we found out why. We found out that these humongous companies, however, were getting the funding, and we gave it another shot. But similar to that same behavior of, you got to be tenacious, you got to not give up. We chose to still not give up, to try again. So we tried again, and finally we were able to get some of those funds. And for us, it was super important that we had the opportunity, since we have a physical location, to pay those bills if we could. And we had have employees, so to pay our employees. So it truly was a bridge between where we were, and then all the lost contracts due to COVID, to where we need to be, and all the people in the middle that are still like, we need to survive as well. So it was kind of a survival conversation for us of, we want to make sure that we eat, but it's important to me that the people that depend on us also have the opportunity to eat.
Definitely. I did want to touch base on a question somebody asked in the chat. Would you talk about how you found investors for your business? Were all of them a good fit for you, or did you have to leave some?
We've had several conversations with several different people as far as investments are concerned. So we now currently work with a phenomenal member team. They're members of our company. She's my best friend, and her husband. We just adore them. They're family members now. But before them, we were that same entrepreneurial couple, my husband and I, knocking on doors. I can remember some really ridiculous things that we did to try to get knowledge of investors, or to get investors knowledgeable of us. I remember traveling. We had some investors that said, hey, we need to meet you at this Shark Tank-like thing that we're putting on in Chicago, but you need to be there tomorrow, ready to pitch, go. And we're like, wait, what? I remember doing that. And my husband did it. He went, and no funds, nothing came of it. So we've been through the ringer. We've flown out, and we've entertained, and we've met, and nothing came of it. We've been across the country. We've been across the state, where we're trying different angel networks, and those didn't necessarily work out for us. So I am a true understander of attempting to try. And we've tried banks and saying, hey, we need just small loans, or we need funding or financing. We've tried so many different things. And for us, believe it or not, our investment relationship came from our pastor. And relationship overall, we had been good people. We had served. We had been aware, and people had been aware of our product in our church. And our pastor knew of a couple, a celebrity baseball couple who had, the husband had just finished his season. He had just retired, and he was starting to invest. And that relationship of us giving back, of us serving, of us being available and kind and nice, and sharing samples with people that we knew, we would have never thought that our samples would have gotten over to them. But the relationship with him is what led to him saying, hey, here's a group that I think you would connect well with. So while we were doing the due diligence of all the things we read in our book about how to get an investor, we were doing all of that. That's not what came for us. And we've received several bits of funding continuously to stay in business over the 10-year process. I think we've been working with them now for 5 years. They've been, again, phenomenal people, and just great friends, now family and relationship partners for our business.
Awesome. Yeah. And if anyone else has questions throughout this live, feel free to toss them in there. We'll break here and there to take questions from y'all. But I did kind of want to get us back kind of on our main topics for today, especially, you and Trey before this were, chatting about your kids. I'm only have a dog, so I don't know. I have the utmost respect for all the parents that are out here trying to continue to do their work and also be a parent and entertain them and make sure they're learning, or, just balancing all those things. Talk a little bit about that has been like, and how you've been dealing with it through all of this. I know so many entrepreneurs are dealing with that exact same thing right now.
Yeah, my kids are what I like to call my heart work. They've really been such a blessing for me. I've really worked very hard on them and with them. Just overall, being a parent and a small business owner, it's truly been a blessing. I'm an only child, so I didn't have a teacher. So my great aunt raised me. I didn't have the opportunity to see business at its finest when I was growing up. So the fact that I have that opportunity to teach my kids about investing, or my kids, one of their first set of words was Walmart. I mean, so, in Macy's. So it was just really cool that's because they were tugging along they were being brought along with just about everything we did in the industry in starting our business. So it's been a fun process, and it's been hard at the same time, right? Because I have to have help. I have to get help. I have to make sure that I am everything for everybody and also everything for myself. So that has definitely been pieces of the pie that I had to figure out how to make sure that I kept in the pie shape. Just time for myself, time for my husband, time for each child. So I got 3 kids. That's time for all three of them, including time for friends, and realizing that that's a very big multiple is for me to have friends and girlfriends and relationships with other people other than my kids. But it's been a very interesting and busy life that I wouldn't trade for the world. I get a chance to have confidants at home that are, I mean, a 7-year, he was 7 at the time, a 7-year-old confidant of just like, mommy had a bad day, let's walk. And using analogies with him of like, you know how Joe at the sandbox didn't want to share his toy? Mommy had a day like that, but just really getting a chance to share that confidence with a 7-year-old who could like understand not much more of what I was explaining, but getting it off my chest and knowing that my secrets were safe with him, and then raising him in this Christian background where he can say, Mom, I can pray for you, and so it's really been a beautiful thing where I have this great confidence in 3 individuals that I'm raising with my spirit, my tenacity, and my efforts and my honor just right alongside me. They're turning into these little similar troop members of the entrepreneurial force of raising a family and a business at the same time.
Where do you feel the biggest? Oh,
say it again.
I said, where do you feel the biggest tug when you're trying to balance all these pieces together? I've been an entrepreneur since I was 20, so I won't tell you how long ago that was, but a couple years ago. But there's that every time I added a piece to my life, it changed my work schedule. I went from not being married and working 7 days a week, most of the time, 15, 18 hours a day, to working 6 days a week, and then had a kid working at 5. Then, I started to modify to create this balance that you're talking about. And where I saw for me, and you mentioned this before when you talked about needing to make time for yourself, but where I saw for me the biggest sacrifice was in the idea of people always say, well, what are your hobbies? I always ask them, what's a hobby? I have no idea what that means, because my hobby is work and then my family. What out of the constant tug that you're being pulled in all these different directions, what's one thing that you feel like you've had to sacrifice or are willing to sacrifice or battle around in order to do that? I'd love for the entrepreneurs that are watching this, that are parents, to A, see that you completely empathize with what they're having to deal with, but B, maybe giving them just some sage wisdom on, look, I don't have it figured out, but I look at things in this way, therefore it helps me manage and maintain. Not to put anything on you big or anything
these are some serious questions. Well, I'd say one of the things that I am grateful for COVID-19 for is I've been able to truly just mentally, spiritually take a toll check on my mental state. And I had so many friends that were just like, hey, I'm just trying to get through. I am just mentally just trying to make it. And what was important for me was to take a toll check to say, okay, where am I? How am I? What am I? Right? And am I okay? And I think throughout this entrepreneurial experience for myself, now moving into my 11th year, I've had the opportunity during that heavy heat of COVID to go, no, I wasn't okay. I wasn't taking time for myself. I noticed because I was taking baths more often during COVID, and I went, I'm in the bathtub like every day. I didn't realize what I was doing. And it was my physical being saying, yo, We need time together. We just me and you. And I started finding myself locking the door and just like, then I found myself like tiptoeing to the bathroom, like no one will know, mommy's away. So those were some of my personal wake up calls of just like trying to like peace out. And in those moments, I got a chance to better understand that I had this hole, and this is so rich, and I'm happy to share it. I realized that I had this entire goal set for myself. And I realized that my goal was at one point in my life, I want to hit $1 million. I want to hit $5 million. That's my goal. I want to hit $75 million. And like, truly, if you can even see my eyes, focus outward. That was my thought process, because I see so many people on Instagram and Facebook saying that they're amazing. I need to be amazing. That's my goal. And my personal self was like, we just need a bath. That's literally all. And that's truly what COVID did for me. COVID helped me, like, instead of look that way, it made me look this way, right in the mirror, to say, what are your goals? What makes you happy? And prior to entrepreneurship, what made you happy? What did you want? And I thought, well, I just wanted to be happy. And my personal thought process was, and are you there? Or are you there? And I was so much more here than I was here. I was overly focused on everyone else than just myself. And I didn't realize how much I like to dance. And that's how Zumba came to be. It's just truly doing that self-introflect of, I like dancing. I like wine. I like tequila. These came out of that, and they were so healthy. I also realized I like girlfriends, and I hadn't talked to a lot of my girlfriends outside of quick text messages of, yeah, busy, you too, me too, let's go, yep, good, have a good day. Heart. So I realized that I hadn't seen my girlfriends face to face in such a long time. I hadn't spent quality time with my kids, like true one-on-one, good hugging, tugging. I know your favorites, you know my favorites time in such a long time. So I'm appreciative of COVID because it allowed me to really do that. And actually what I did was I wrote down a list of 50 things that I have always wanted. And I thought, wow, that's a lot of things. But by the time I started writing down these things, and they couldn't be work related, they couldn't be, I want to make this amount, I want to sell to this customer. Because what I started to realize is that my personal goals were truly being overlapped by my business goals. So much so that all my goals were all business and my personal started to dissipate. And I stopped being a person, so much so that I'm like, I don't like going to work. I want to be an at-home mom. And also what COVID did for me was help me realize I don't want to be an at-home mom. I hate being at home with my kids all day. So, so I'm so happy for COVID. It's just like, I'm just telling you the truth here. So I realized that I truly needed time with my kids. I needed time for myself. I needed time with my friends. I needed time with my husband, not business hour time. I needed to better understand and connect and relate with my employees more. I needed to better connect and relate with my my business customers more. So I think that I've really been able to just really tap into me. And let me tell you something that's so cool that I would have never realized prior to me doing this self-reflection and like 50 things that I want. I would have never realized that I was overlooking the power of true dead-on full relationship with my customers. And I was missing out on letting them know who I am as a whole human. I mean, I got to the point where I'm like, I'll do my logo. I'll just use my logo for my picture on stuff. And it's so interesting because now that I'm connected to me and what I like, and I am truly more sincere of, if you don't like me, then, and I'm the founder and this is my baby, my brainchild, and we kind of got to stop there. But I can't help you like me if I'm not comfortable sharing me, if I'm not comfortable opening myself up to you. And when I say you, I mean my customers, my end customers, as well as my retail partners. And it's a different thought process because as a corporate created person, I was always told, like, be quiet, sit still, say yes, get it done, move to the top, go fast, make a ton, and keep it moving. And allow your personal self to come out at cocktail parties, right? So that's the only time, and no one will notice or remember, right? So that's what the way I was taught. And what I've been doing recently is allowing people to see the real me, to see me cry, to see me laugh, to let them know what bothers me. Does Black Lives Matter get under my skin? Does some of the things that are happening get under my skin? Yes. Do I love and appreciate diversity and the fun and the excitement around the movement? And am I giving props enough to the retailers that have been supporting my Black-owned company before Black Lives Matter was a big marketing topic? Yes. And am I willing to send an email to say that? Yes. So these are some of the things that I've been more comfortable sharing. So much so that I've changed even my email title, where instead of just Psyche Terry, MBA, founder, CEO, C whatever I put Psyche Terry, mom of 3, Zumba lover, MBA, founder, that too. But you know that about me already. I want you to know me. So that's truly what I've been more getting comfortable with, and I've been seeing how that's going to work on this side of the business trick.
That's incredible. What great advice and something to think through as being the brand behind your brand, and the reason that people want to engage and connect and really sharing the ethos of what you're trying to do. It's not just about buy this product, it's about buy this image, this culture, this element of who you are, which I think is incredible. So thank you so much for being vulnerable and authentic to share what you're going through, because I think it's so important for entrepreneurs, and I mentioned this before, but it's so important for entrepreneurs to see other entrepreneurs and go, I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm not the only one that's challenged by that. Yeah. Because to your point, you can't necessarily go to your staff and share all of the things that you're worried about and all the things that frighten you. That's why, thank God you have a 7-year-old. That's those conversations. But the part of that being like that ability to look up and see that somebody else has the same problems, the same concerns, the same nightmares. They probably even wake up at the same time in the middle of the night going, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Just like you do. And so that's helpful. I appreciate that. We've got a couple of questions that I want to make sure we get to, but I also want to kind of move the conversation with about 17 minutes that we have left to talk about this concept of working from home, remote working, and really remote managing your team. And so how has remote working been from you? You talked about it a minute ago a little bit. Do you have counsel on the most effective way to get things done, to set aside time to, 10 minutes before we came on, my kids were running around right here and I was trying to get them to go downstairs so that we could do this call. But talk just a little bit about that process of the remote working, and then we'll get into some remote management pieces too.
Yeah. So my home or our office is like 5 minutes from our house. So we've had the opportunity now on this side of things to run back and forth. I'm at my office building now, and I'm at my house just as much. And we've got our home office that used to be my home office when we first started the company. So it was just pretty surreal being in the same room again. And where we had like our startup desk and our startup chair that hurt, but that was all we had when we started. But then to take like a few things from the office and bring it to the home office, that felt pretty good. But definitely having my kiddos, jumping in my screen and saying, okay, everybody quiet, we're going live, mommy's live. And we have like this rule of like, if mommy's live or if they're live on their Zoom calls. And then here's the awesome part is my now 9-year-old is like, mommy, you don't know how to use Zoom? Let me help you, and I'm just like, oh my God, yeah. And just like, can you wait one moment? I'm getting technical assistance from my 9-year-old. Working from home it's been such an interesting thing. So with 3 children working from home that all have different curriculum behaviors, right? So teachers telling us like what to do. and my husband and I working together, and he handles the entire finance side of the company. I handle the entire marketing, sales, product creation side of the company. We have our own schedule. So it used to be where he helped me in the company, and now he's his own, like, he's got his own job. So it was very, very trying and pulling even on just us, where we'd of course have to do late nights or early mornings. And more than anything, we're like, can they still do nap time? I mean, where we're just trying to like implement, how can we and where can we and when can we get straight up strategic work time? So we created a schedule where he had the kids during like these core 4 hours, and I had the kids during these core 4 hours. That was how we did it, and it worked superbly. It gave the kids an understanding, and they would go, who has us this morning? And then we flip off. So I was the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and he was morning on Tuesday, Thursdays. And that just worked for us. And we had to be communicative to our customers to say, if you need me on Tuesday, Thursdays, you can catch me from 12 to 4. If you need me anytime prior to that, you should reach out to other people on our staff, because I'm not going to be available. I'll be with the kiddos. Working from home has definitely helped me, however, realize my needs and wants, and helped me realize that I can be a business ninja when needed, meaning I can swipe through emails. I can read faster than I ever knew I could. I can check off things that I need to know. I'm able to really read through a lot of BS easier because I have to now. I don't have time during COVID, working from home with kids running around me, to mess around with a ton of like BS emails, just to be transparent. And as entrepreneurs, we get a lot of those, right? I would love to show you, you should definitely be we can help you grow up. And I'm like, delete. I got kids over here. I don't have time to entertain anything that's not gonna like for real do what I need it to do. It's been interesting.
That's so good for sure. It's just so real and raw, and for, you know, as I said, for me being an entrepreneur, I just empathize with everything that you're talking about right now. Ellen asks, how big is your team right now, and how are you at making hiring decisions at the beginning of your journey? Right? People always say the key to hiring is hire slow, fire fast. Right? I mean, was that something you were really good at coming into the company, or that you've learned from? Have you made mistakes? What were you, where is your team now in terms of number? And then how have you learned that?
So I, at one point in life, I had like this, I need 20 people on my team. That was at one point in life. And then I took classes, and classes are always like, how many people do you have on your staff? How many people are you feeding? How many people are you employing? And I'm like, oh my God, it's just me. I'm a solopreneur. I suck. And I realized, no, do you know that like 90, if not more % of American entrepreneurs are solopreneurs? I had no idea that most people like are solopreneurs making it happen on their own. So when we lost 50%, 60% of our staff over COVID-19, that was really tough for us. However, it taught me needs and wants again. How many did I really need? Was I just adding people just for the sake of adding people because I was told that I'm supposed to have 25, 35 people on my staff? Here's the thing that they don't tell you. And I say this as a master MBA degree, having been through every business program except for Harvard's program. And I'm sure I'll probably do that too. But I'm going to tell you a secret to my success that I didn't realize as a business entrepreneur and owner. Take your, to determine if you're overspending in your staff, or if you have too many people on your team, not listening to what everybody else is telling you about how many people you should be employing. Take your revenues and then divide them by the number of people it takes you to hit that number. If you're negative, or if you see that you make X amount of money per person and it's not a lot, then we've got a problem.
That's awesome. Nuggets of wisdom right here. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Delaney. You're on mute.
Oh, whoops. At one point there was banging going on in the apartment next to me, so we had to turn it off. Oh, we might have lost Psyche. We'll give her a minute, see if she is able to hop back on. If not, we're coming to about 9 minutes out, so we'll see.
So it's just been so great to listen to her chat. I
think you're on mute now, Trey.
Oh. It doesn't look like I'm on mute.
Huh.
Can you hear me?
Let's see. If the public is able to tell us, are you able to hear Trey? I'm not able to hear Trey.
I apologize. Is that happening?
Because our help on the back end says that they can hear Trey.
Oh, great. So I'll keep talking. So anyway, it's just been really interesting to hear Psyche's perspective and to talk about the different elements that she's learned. And that's so much about what entrepreneurship is. It's about learning from decisions you make or experiences you have, or, oftentimes we just get lucky and we make a good decision, right? And then that luck becomes skill. As we learn more and more, we have more and more experiences, and we can continue to grow. And so I think she's just an amazing example of someone who's just stuck to it, worked hard, learned, made good decisions, prioritized effectively, and grown from there. So often we hear that that you can't have a family and be a good entrepreneur. And I think she epitomizes the lie that is, because she is being a mom, she is being a wife, she is being a friend, and she's being an entrepreneur, and a pretty incredible one. I mean, I wish I said at the beginning, I don't like to read people's bios, but as I was reading hers, I was going to ask her, how do you have time to work? You win all these awards all the time. I mean, she's so respected and seen as such an amazing example of an entrepreneur. And I think all of you out there can see that today, having listened to her talk, and I'm bummed that somehow she got kicked off, but I will refer you to some of the things that she did say. She talked a lot about the importance of relationship, right? And clearly when you listen to her talk, that's one of her amazing gifts. But that relationship element being so important to drive businesses, not just direct to consumer, but also with her retail partners as she's trying to grow things there. She also said during COVID, she's looked at how to develop and modify that relationship a little bit to figure out, what do her customers need? How can she support and serve her customers during this time? She talked about pivoting a little bit and looking at, okay, well, what can I do? What resources do I have that will allow me to serve a need that my customers have? And she's kind of said that from the beginning. Everything she saw was that I saw a need. I wanted to face it. I felt that need. I felt like the products that we were creating were valuable and helpful and supportive. And so she went and did that. So the relational piece is important. The other thing is the constant, we call it perseverance here, but stick-to-itiveness, whatever, determination, the stubbornness and the unwillingness to give up. Like Psyche said, such an example of that, and just stuck with it. I mean, 10 years. I mean, she said this before, and I've heard other entrepreneurs say this in the past. I was an overnight sensation. It only took 10 years. And so just recognizing that if you're going to do this, if you're going to embark upon this world of entrepreneurship, which personally, side note, I think there's more opportunity to be an entrepreneur now than in the entire, history of my career. Because when there is problems like this and issues like this that come up, there's so much opportunity for innovation. And so she, but to her example, when you look at Psyche, she has done this and stuck with this for 10 years, as has her husband. So you got to understand too, that when you're a mother or a father or a parent of any type, and you're going to embark on an entrepreneurial journey, it is a commitment. Like, if you really want to make this work, I don't think people realize how much time it takes to get something like this off the ground, how much time it takes to really grow and get a business to a place where it's where you can hire people and you can let some of the weight off your shoulders. And it seems like, she's doing that and she's been there, but just what an awesome example of her. And isn't it cool that we have entrepreneurs like her in North Texas that have been doing this for 10 years, that have been sticking with it, right? That have gone out there, that are learning how to hire people and when they need people, when they don't. And the willingness to have that experience and share it freely with everybody, I think is so important. And just honored to have her on the show with us today. I don't think she's coming back on. It looks like something's trying to happen over here in the blue part of the screen. But I would like to just open it up to any final questions that we may have. Please write them there. And while we're doing that, it looks like she's back on. Can we hear you, Psyche? She's back on, but we can't hear her. Okay, well, I want to leave you with a couple of things. We at the Deck Network always want to make sure we're making different resources available. Delaney heads up all of our events and programs, and so please come check out, sign up for the newsletter. We send out a newsletter, multiple times a week that has everything that's going on, all the resources that are available out there, whether it be the PPP and alternative funding solutions like our Revive Dallas Small Business Relief Fund, or just different things out there that can be resources for you. Organizations across North Texas that can offer, the type of support that entrepreneurs out there may need. And that's part of the benefit of being a part of the North Texas ecosystem, is that we have all of those elements there and available. You just got to find them. And part of our job is to help direct you to the places that are most supportive. The last thing I'll mention, and Ellen, thanks for bringing that up, is the mentorship programs, right? One of the things that I often tell people is that I love about entrepreneurship is that entrepreneurship is not an intellectual thing. It's an experiential thing. And so often the one thing that an entrepreneur needs more than anything else is the one thing that he or she does not have, and that's experience. Especially when you get started. And so we have two ways of gaining experience. You can earn it or you can learn it. Earning it is what most of us had to do, which is we go out, we make a bunch of mistakes, we spend a lot of money in the wrong place, and we learn over time, don't do that. That doesn't work, right? Just like your children, when you touch the stove, it's going to burn you. I'm not going to touch the stove anymore. But the better way to do it, the most cost-effective, most efficient way of doing it is learning it. And that means you surround yourself by subject matter experts, service providers, experienced entrepreneurs, or just elder statesmen and women in business that just have more experience than you. You can say, look, I'm going to help you remove these obstacles that stand in your way of actually being able to get to a place where you can start, build, and grow a business. So the Deck Network has launched something called the Fast Start Mentor Program. And Delaney or Rachel, if you guys could put a link to that mentor program in the comment section, that would be super great. But you can come and have access to a free mentor or set of mentors that can help you. And likewise, we're looking for mentors, people that are willing to come in and share of their experience and so forth and so on. The Deck Network's Fast Start Mentor Program is only one of the many mentor programs out there and available across the region. So we would encourage you to find the mentor program that's right for you. If we can help push you in one direction or the other, we want to do that for sure. But check that out. We'll make sure to put that in the comment section either right now or after the call, so you can do that and so you can find a way to connect in with us. I do want to thank Psyche so much for her time today. That was this every week. I so enjoy learning from different entrepreneurs, and she did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. Wish her all the best as we move forward, and hopefully because we do all these different events and programs, Delaney will be able to convince her to come participate in some other things that we're doing at the Deck Network in the future. We have a great program called We Dallas, which focuses on women entrepreneurs. Psyche is such a great example of that. And then we do a bunch of work across all industry and sectors. So thanks everybody for being here this week. I think next week we're off, but we will be back in 2 weeks. And I think we're going to have Nick Clark, who's the co-founder and CEO of the Common Desk, which is a rapidly growing, locally started co-working space that's growing all across Texas and now up into Oklahoma and some other places. So Delaney, thank you for being here and for setting this up. And we're going to let everybody take off and have a great weekend. And we will hopefully catch up with you in the next few weeks. Be looking for this. Share this with any of your friends as we post it and send it out there, because this is some really great content to share and encourage people across the entrepreneurial community. Have a great day.